Good morning guys, out here in the workshop today. You might notice in the background that there are some electrical cans screwed on the wall, and that's what I'm about to do today. Our cement is still there setting up. It's been closing on 24 hours now. I'll probably allow another 24 or so before I remove those forms. Then I can get on pouring my other knee wall on that back wall. But while I'm waiting, got to find something to do. I don't want to put the shop on hold, but the electrical is a good thing to do because I'm away from the cement and stuff. Notice all my electrical is going up 4 feet down from the ceiling, and you'll notice all the cans are outside the wall. I'm doing all external electrical with like steel braided BX cable. Should be a really beautiful setup. I'm not slacking on the number of plugs in this place, lining her right around. It's going to be a really nice setup. We'll talk more about it as the day goes on. Now the electrical panel is right here, right behind this wall, so that's where all of our wiring is coming out of. We do have several, we have a couple spare breaker slots there that we can use, so I can run a couple series, or a couple circuits out here, I guess you would say. I'm not super electrically literate, so my good buddy Cody, if you've seen Cody if you've been following the channel for a while. He hasn't been on videos for a while now, but he helped me out, pick out some of the supplies I need. He actually called in the order for me, kind of give me some little basic instruction. He's not here helping right now. I don't know if he will show up at some point to say hello or to answer a few questions, but I'm getting started here now by myself anyways. I guess he's busy or something probably. But we're going to have the lights I have picked up we'll look at later, but they all run by plugging in. So I don't need to wire in light sockets, they plug in. So I'm running one series, the switch series, that'll run off the switch, run up pretty well to the ceiling, and all lights will be on that. It'll be pretty much all plug-ins, but it will be all dedicated for the lights. I'm running another circuit off the panel that's going around for all of my plugs. I could have done, Cody was describing something where you run like 2 power sources through each plug or something, so your bottom and your top are on 2 separate breakers, but I don't think it's worth my trouble of trying to do that, and also I don't think it's really necessary. I know it would be convenient, that way you could have tons of power to every single plug, but I'm running all 12-2 wire, so I'm running heavy wire as it is. I don't think I'll ever have the issue of plugging multiple things in on a single receptacle like that. So should be okay. We're gonna get to it, see if we can get a few more cans up. I'm just trying to figure out, play out the layout in my mind. How is the cable gonna run? It's not like it's inside the wall now. You can't just poke it wherever. It's outside. You have to be able to run nice crisp lines. So I'm trying to play it out in my mind here to look real nice and clean. But I think you'll be alright, for now anyway. Level.
Oh.
What, you're out on the bottom, so I'm in on the bottom, out on the top.
Yeah.
In on the top.
Punch out in the hole, just the one, right?
Okay.
When you cut,
Yeah.
make sure you cut on an angle, okay? You want a flat, smooth surface here. Bend your wires back, make a little trim, just to get the sharp, just a sharp edge, a little burr, yeah.
So you wouldn't try to trim it back no more than that?
No. Now, you can go through the pain of cutting it with the hacksaw if you want.
Well, not if I can pop it like that. Not if it.
But see, when you hold your anti-short in place,
Yeah.
and when you twist this, you want to twist it so that the butt of the anti-short goes down inside the armored cable. And now you got a nice covered. It's easy as it gets.
So as you saw, Cody was up there this afternoon. First time I've seen Cody in a little while, and gave me just a bit of a rundown on using this BX cable. I haven't done a lot of electrical wiring in my life anyways, but this is the first time I've ever been around BX cable. When I was looking at wiring solutions for the shop, I was thinking conduit was the best solution, because I did want my wiring outside the walls for a couple of reasons. I wanted easy access to be able to move things and change it as the shop evolved or as I might need to add on. And I also wanted sort of that industrial look of conduit or the wiring outside the walls. Now, I was advised by a couple different electricians, including Cody, that conduit was not the best solution. Now, code requires a protected cable if you're below a certain distance on the wall. I think you have to be above 5 feet, I think. And I am above 5 feet on the wall. So technically I don't need a BX cable like this. I don't need a protected cable, because if you have an unprotected cable down below 5 feet, it's kind of considered, I guess, the bump zone, the contact zone. So if you're rolling your wheelbarrow over to park it against the wall, or you're rolling the table saw over against the wall, you don't want to punch in through that wire, and of course metal to metal contact, and you'll have some issues like that. So to avoid that, you either have to keep an unprotected wire above that bump zone, which I think is 5 feet, but don't quote me on that. Or you can be below that with braided wire, but technically I don't need protected wire. But look at this beautiful BX cable. Isn't that nice? It'll give that nice industrial look. It's a little bit more expensive, but I think it's definitely worth it for the real nice look you get. And I was a little bit intimidated to work with it, just because of course you have to, it's a bit harder to cut, and you also have to separate the lining. You also have to install these anti-short plugs, which once you cut the material, focus. Once you cut that material, you have to put in these anti-short plugs, which stops that steel rim from contacting the rubber sheathing on your wires. You have to wedge those plastic plugs, bushings, I think they're called, anti-short bushings. You have to wedge them down inside to protect your wiring. And then you have to use kind of special connectors. You have to use saddle connectors. You can't just use like the new quick nylon connectors and stuff. But it looks really good when it's done. Really industrial. It has that industrial look. I went with 12-2 wire. It's nice and heavy. I can run pretty well anything I want in this. It's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. Putting in lots of plugs because I'm doing it myself. Electrical material, in my opinion, isn't that expensive. I'm getting everything here for the shop. And I'm doing the work myself, of course, but all materials, I'm in around $350 Canadian, which to line the walls with plugs and plugs in the ceiling and lights everywhere, that's pretty good in my opinion. So we'll talk about what I picked for lights later, but for now, let's see if we can get this one up in the connector. I'll go up, run this one in, connect it to the saddle connector, and then we'll see how much I have to take off the end of this one after. Beautiful. So that's connected right there now. Again, we can wire. We've got a light fixture to go in right here. This is the only actual light fixture in the shop. So here's my distance. We need to bend and break. Some people do hacksaw for this. Then you twist, and if you get enough twist, you see that wire actually, the coating actually uncoils, the aluminum coating. You can get your snips in back of there then. Nice clean snip. That pulls right off. And that is the shop electrical pretty much done. I didn't film it, but Mr. Cody was just here and switching the breakers. I took a couple circuits in. I put in a couple extra 20 amp breakers, but I also took in, I don't know, 1 or 2 15 amp breakers that weren't being used, swapped them out with 20s. So we're running, everything out here is running on 20 amps. Let me give you guys a show around. There are plenty of wall touch-ups to do now, and I still haven't touched up the gloss down bottom here and stuff. It doesn't look quite as pretty as it will, but we have 2 plugs here running out from inside. These 2 are on its own circuit, 20 amps. We have a 240 plug there for a welder. I will also come off with another 240 that'll go in that can there for the grinder later on. It's not done yet. We have a circuit right here that runs off the switch. This will run around for a light in my grinding room, which will be that corner, along with 2 plug-ins, and that's where our lights will come off of. Another circuit, 20 amp, all 12 2 wire, comes out here, and we have plug, 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 and plug. So tons of receptacles in the shop. Notice we have a double receptacle here in the grinding room, so I'll be able to run lots of stuff. If I keep my grinder on 120 for a little while, I can plug in a dust collector or air exchanger, shop vac, whatever tools I want, I can plug in my grinding room. It'll be all set up real nice. I just put in a standard light here, and like I said, double receptacles here. Or what is it, duplex they call it? A duplex receptacle. We have 2. My strings of lights will run off there, and I'll be able to control all the lights with this switch right here. There's power to it all. I've tested it, but I've tested it with just my little circuit tester or whatever, but I have not actually ran everything off of it yet. So let's see here, I need to charge up the compressor to blow off some of my chalk line. The first time, let's go with the very last plug in this circuit. Ooh, those are fresh plugs. Let's see.